Hell Week sounds very aggressive. Hell is aggressive word. How does love fit with hell?
I'm not. Death is the best invention in life. It makes me want to live now. Is also a very good tool to prove to yourself that hardship of times is not that bad.
To an extreme, but not burn out.
They are tough. Think about Russians. I think about tough people, and I like everything. If I can do Hell Week, I can do everything. We are just visiting this planet for a very, very short time. We have this one life, this one opportunity, and we don't sit down and ask ourselves, what is our vision? What is the most important things in my life? What would be fantastic to achieve?
Hello, Radislav Gandapas here. This is my channel, Leadership Strategies. Well, we focus on the topics which can help people achieve the success. And today we have the good fortune of having as our guest the #1 mental trainer and performance coach in Norway, international speaker and best-selling author, Erik Larssen. Hi, Erik. Good to see you. Good to see you again. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Thank you.
As we know from your book, The Hell Week, you former paratrooper. It's not a common decision to go to military between young boys nowadays. Why and how you became a paratrooper?
Well, I guess it started when I was really, really young. When I was a kid, I moved a lot from place to place because of my father's job. So he worked in different factories all over the country, and it was not easy for me. I was a very small kid. I was thin, skinny, puny little kid, and because I moved a lot, I felt very much alone. I was even teased and bullied a little bit. So I guess the reason I started in the military was that I needed to compensate for something. I wanted not to be that small bullied kid for the rest of my life. When I was 18 years old, I joined something they call junior officer school. And to me, that was a tremendous thing that happened to me because suddenly I became someone. I found identity. I found friends, and finally I could be rather good at something because I did various kind of sports when I was a kid. So the military was fantastic to me. I found myself in a way, and so I started in junior officer school, and I went to something called long range reconnaissance up north in Norway. And then I tried for the paratroopers. I got that spot, and that was something I was really, really proud of because that journey of being that small bullet kid and feeling very much alone, actually, and then to achieve that was huge. Was huge for me. And I guess it is many of the reasons I do what I do today because I realized that the mental part, how I choose to think, was crucial. It was not only the physique; it was super psychological battle in a way.
And the continuance of your career is very original. You became an author, speaker, and coach. How and why?
Well, I was very fascinated by famous people, even when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, I got a little bit scared that life would be tough and hard all the time. So I tried to find out what do famous people, what do people that in my world had created a fantastic journey had in common. So I actually started reading about Norwegian explorers, those who tried to go to the North Pole, and Amundsen who walked to the South Pole. I read about the famous Vikings. I read about Yuri Gagarin. I read about Neil Armstrong, Winston Churchill. I read about famous people and tried to understand how did they create a great journey. And I found out that many of them had something in common. Many of them had struggles, and they made this journey because they had the right attitude, the right way of thinking, and that inspired me so much. So when I had this epiphany, this aha moment in the army that I could do this, then I thought, hey, then everyone can do fantastic things, because when little puny me can do something that I became proud of, then we all can train our brain and to think in the right way and to achieve a fantastic journey. When I started working in finance, and then by coincidence, maybe I'm not sure, I started working as a headhunter, and there I got a course, a coaching course. And then I realized that, hey, I will not stay in the military. I was not doing this masculine finance things. I'm the soft guy. I'm curious about people. I'm curious about emotions. I'm curious about how I can inspire people to get more out of their potential. So I started doing coaching 15 years ago. 15 years ago, it's a long time.
You have many examples of both influences in your life when feelings, emotions lift you up or limit your opportunities. Do you use this experience in your coaching session, speeches, and trainings?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is important to remind ourselves that your actions are very much influenced by your emotions. How you feel will decide what to do. So when I coach people, I very often ask them, "What can you do to feel better or to perform better at your job? What can you do?" And most people, they know what they can do to perform better or to have more quality in their life. So then the challenge is to actually do it. But the right actions demands the right feelings. And my mantra is that you can control these feelings much, much more than you maybe are aware of. And how we control them is how we choose to think. And I can tell a story from a military that blew my mind. Um, it was in the middle of the 90s, and I've been 4 years on patrol in the military. And it was, I think it was a week exercise. And after 3 or 4 days, there was a pause in this exercise where we were given some food and some drinks and given some rest. But the weather was bad. It was about 0 degrees Celsius, and we had been walking for 4 days. So I was really, really tired, and it was raining like mad. It was crazy. And I was extremely tired. It was a very heavy rucksack, and I was freezing, like almost losing my control of the body. And I was extremely negative. I hated the situation. I was super destructive, and I told myself I will end my career in the military. I will quit. After this exercise, I will quit. And then I suddenly hear one of the instructors say, check out if you have enough water, guys. So check your water bottle. And just to get up the water bottle up from my belt was like a struggle, because I was freezing so hard. So just taking out that bottle was like a big task for me. And then I was like looking into the bottle, and I realized I'm out of water. So I was like, shoot, I need to get some water. But where is this big water tank? And looking after it, I saw one of my colleagues, and he was in the exact same situation. And this is important, because this made me like a big aha moment in life. He was about the same size as me, the same height, same amount of muscles. He was a little bit more endurant than me, but he was very much the same guy. He was the same age, very much the same upbringing, and he was smiling. I could see by the body language that he was happy. And he was famous for this. But I thought in this situation, it is nothing to be happy about. So I'm not proud of it. I admit that, but I needed to confront him in a way, because I was super, super negative. And when I saw that he was like happy in the same circumstances, I was like wondering, well, how is that possible? So I walked towards him like 10, 15 meters. And he was talking to a soldier, and I asked, how are you doing, guys? I guess what I wanted was like self-pity in a way. And he said, I'm great. My feet are dry. How are your feet, Erik? And then I realized that the reason he's the toughest warrior, the reason he was the toughest warrior I've ever met, is that he was tremendously clever at finding the right focus. So I took focus from my tired shoulders, my empty stomach, my freezing, and I focused on that my feet were dry. And it was like amazing. We all the people of the whole world, we can decide what we focus on. We can decide what we think, and what we think will then influence how we feel, because my feelings instantly changed. And how I continued on that exercise actually changed, because I changed my focus, I changed my thinking. So that was a super like big moment for me, and where I learned a lot.
How do you use this experience in your coaching with clients? That they refocus from the bad side, from the dark side, to the other one.
Well, it's a good question, because it's very convenient or even human for us to think in a way that makes us feel comfortable. I try to make my clients aware that we as human beings, we are struggling, we are fighting for comfort all the time, because we have lived in nature, been part of nature for thousands of years. Which we see as Homo sapiens, been on this planet for like 200,000 years. At least 199 of them, we have been very close to nature and be dependent on nature. We actually struggle to have the most convenient day. So I try to tell my clients that we can push our limits. We can go out of the comfort zone. We can think a little bit different, not feel sorry for ourselves, but we can put focus on something else. Maybe the end result, maybe the goal, maybe what we want to achieve, that everything is actually possible if you have the right mindset, and to make them actually believe that. And if they actually start to believe that, they will try to like, hey, maybe I can try just a little bit. Maybe I can change just a little bit tomorrow. Just tiny small steps, where I can try to do Hell Week and do create a momentum. Because what you ask about is actually very hard for human beings, because change is hard. Changing human behavior is really, really hard. I talked to one of Boston Consulting Group's partners here in Oslo. And he used me as a coach because he wanted to develop as a leader. And I asked him in I guess it was in the second meeting, I asked him, how can you perform better as a leader? And he said, well, I can wake up a little bit earlier in the morning. I can eat a healthy breakfast. I can be more present with my kids and my wife. I can go a little bit earlier to office, and I can plan my day. I can take more initiatives to have more important talks one-on-one to key personnel. I can be more visionary. I can have small speeches to the whole company. I can take more initiatives to get new clients. I can follow up them in a better way. I can eat healthier. I can read more books instead of watching TV. And I can go earlier to bed so I have a good rest.
But where is his but? But
Yeah,
the only
and I asked him, why don't you do it? And he said, "Well, Erik, it sounds like exhausting. It's that sounds hard. I'm doing pretty well here. I'm a partner in one of the biggest consultancy firms in the world. So hey, give me some space here. I'm doing pretty well." And then I asked him, and the idea from Hellwick came up. I asked him, "But could you do it for 1 week?" So we actually scheduled his super week or Hell week, and it was demanding. He would get up at 5 o'clock and he would eat super healthy, no social media, work incredibly focused, and no TV. And when he was with the kids and the family, he would be super focused with them. And it was a very, very ambitious week. And he was supposed to call me on Sunday and tell me how it went. So it was 2 meetings with heavy scheduling, and he started 5 o'clock on that Monday. And he called me on Friday, and it was almost like a child talking with great enthusiasm that, "Hey, Erik, I thought I would hate that week, and that it would be tough and full of hardship, but hey, what I realized, it was so cool, it was so rewarding, and I've learned so much, and I will take many of elements of this week into my future life, and I realized I can do a lot more than I think." So he was like super enthusiastic, and then I thought, this might be a good idea, that we can make this momentum in life, that to kickstart a change process by this week. So that's why I actually created this book, and maybe the idea was even better than I thought then, because I realize now that a lot of people all over the world, they do Hell Week to kickstart a changing process.
We make an interview online now because of pandemic, because of crisis. And my question is Hell Week simulated crisis? Does it help prepare for real crisis? I mean, not only global, personal crisis, career crisis, financial crisis, and so on.
So life will give you challenges during your lifetime anyway. So I agree. Doing Hellwick is a great preparation. I at the same time tell myself, you will have the tough times. It will be very volatile. It's like if you want a great return on a stock you buy, you have to take high risk, and it will be ups and downs. But ups and downs, Radislav, is living. Many emotions, many feelings, that's living. So I've had my tough times as most people, and I try to remind myself that this is good for me, because if I'm down here and feeling grief or sorrow or pain, that gives me the ability to feel the opposite, because I'm so strong believer in that. If you want to feel fantastic from time to time, you need to feel the opposite, and this is living. So I'm not scared of failing. I'm not scared of people having an opinion about me. At least I've tried to take it a little bit down, because I want to fail, because that gives me the opportunity to have that opposite feeling. So Hell Week is also a very good tool to prove to yourself that hardship and tough times is not that bad. We as human beings, and especially the Russians, they are tough, so you can take it, right? When I think about Russians, I think about tough people, and to implement that and to believe that you can do Hell Week, and you can like realize for yourself that, hey, I can take everything. If I can do Hell Week, I can do everything. And that's what people in the special forces actually believe. They completed Hell Week, then they build this tremendous self belief that they can do everything.
Hell Week has been experienced by many of your clients. Any successful examples?
Yeah, that this varies, of course, and this is very individual and how much effort people put into it. But there are some quite big changes. It's important for me to emphasize that if you want to change, normally it takes time, and you should do it by step. So Hellwick is a way to create momentum, and it is a way to create this a kickstart of a changing process. But I've had leaders all over the world actually who has kickstart a major changing process with Hell Week, and I've seen it in sports as well. I coached a Norwegian athlete who was actually about to give up her career, and I tried to like ignite her, and to boost her motivation and energy, and to prove to herself that she can still do it. And we did Hell Week. So instead of like, come on, take step by step, we tried to like kickstart the whole thing, and we took a Hell Week with her, and that made that spark. That eventually ended up in a big bonfire by going to the Olympics and taking a medal in the Olympics.
How many times? How often do you recommend to repeat Hell Week? Once a year, once a month, every second week?
I For some people, one and if you do it 100%, one time in life will can give you a great reward. But as a general tool, I think if you do it once a year, maybe twice a year, that would be fantastic. Once, twice a year to reignite and to reinforce yourself. That would be super. A lot of people tell me that, hey, you can't have kids. I have Hell Week every week, but I do have kids, and maybe it's important that it's up to you how you construct this week. It's up to you how you actually schedule it. The most important thing is that you create this week where you are your absolute best, because it is super fascinating to me to realize that most people actually know what they should do to perform better or to have a better life. So the key is to actually do it, and Helvik could be that tool.
Erik, you said it usually changes takes time. What are some examples of incremental change you have led to in others?
I need to be very close to billionaires and millionaires to understand why they have succeeded in business and while others haven't. And the reason I need to be very close to them and follow them from morning to evening, because I do that with a lot of clients, I realize that the difference between great and good is actually very, very small. And there's some motivation in that, because a lot of people think that if you want to become successful, you need to do big changes and change a lot, but that's wrong. It's about the small details. If you do a little bit extra every day, that's actually part of this successful recipe. And if you want to change, you need to change. You could do a Hell Week to kickstart it, but as a general rule, you need to be aware that change takes time. If we look at life as water, if you take water from 20 to 21 degrees Celsius, it doesn't make much change. But if you change it 1 degree every day, it will finally reach 99 degrees Celsius. And then it is 1 degree from starting bubbling and making gas and become something totally different. And that's how a successful journey is as well. Small steps over time will make a tremendous change to a totally different state after a while. And you know what? They get early up in the morning. A lot of successful people, they create a good start of the day. That's how it is in many things in life. If we start off the interview in a good way, it's easier to continue in a good way. If you start a presentation or a speech or a sales meeting in a good way, or an interview in a good way, it's so much better to continue in a good way. And that's how it is with the day as well. So it's not a coincidence that special forces or Buddhists or very clever people in sports or politics or business, they actually get up early in the morning and have that fantastic coffee time, meditation, even maybe exercising or making a good breakfast for their kids, or maybe they paint or listen to music. You could look it up. Philosophers, athletes, sportsmen, they get up early. So my next book is actually about how small changes, the wings of a butterfly can create a tornado, right? So I try to convince the reader that just try to have a little more quality in the morning.
May I ask how was your morning today?
I was up 5. I tried to get up at 5, and I meditate for like 20 minutes. It's not a must, but for the last few years, I realized that meditation is good for me. And then I had a short walk slash run. I was out for just 20 minutes, and I did 20 push-ups and 20 sit-ups. It's not a lot, but I had no meditation. I had a short workout, and I had a good breakfast, and it doesn't need to be much, and it doesn't need to be hard. But I can tell you that, Radislav, that I was tired when I woke up this morning. I was tired, but a mental trick, I believe, is to not ask yourself, "Can I sleep for 10 more minutes?" and hit the snooze button. I forced myself to ask the question, what am I looking forward to today? And I was like super tired, and I was like, what am I looking forward to today? And I was trying to remind myself the schedule, and it was like, okay, meeting one client there, one there, and I'm having this interview with this superstar in Russia, and that made me feel a little bit better. And then it was easier to get out of bed. And after a few minutes, and after a cup of coffee and meditation, I felt better. So if you have this dilemma, should I hit the couch or should I do exercise? Should I call that tough client or that happy client? Should I be there with my kids or should I be on the cell phone? We have tremendously amount of choices every day, and so we need to be aware of why we want to do more of the right stuff. And then if we have that, we will always find a how, and then we can push it to how can I feel afterwards, how can I feel in an hour, and that helps me actually do the right thing. So I believe in small changes over time. If you want to have a fantastic morning, start getting 1 minute earlier tomorrow, and then the next day it's another minute, and after a month you get used to getting up half an hour earlier, and then you have a tremendous possibility to have a good morning.
What else?
So I talk very much about what is success for you. And I actually try to help the reader by defining what is success to me. And it is hard to define success because we are bombarded with input of what is a successful life through social media and TV. So it's not, you need to be a little bit brave to dare to find your path on what is success for you, because a lot of people associate success with money and a certain career, and that could be good for some people but not for all. And to be aware of what success is for you is super, super important. Another aspect that is very important to be able to change is to be aware that we as human beings are very much afraid. We are scared. We have a lot of fear in us. And the reason for that is natural. Because when we lived on this planet for 200,000 years, there was great danger every day. Predators, bad weather, hunger. It was brutal. So we still have that fear in us. And as I mentioned earlier, the fear of feeling uncomfortable. And I try to get the reader to understand that this fear that we still carry with us is very much bullshit today. It's there are no reason why we should carry all this fear. It is hard for people to go on stage because you are seen, you are evaluated, you are analyzed. And that was brutal before, because you could be excluded, and if you were alone in nature, that would be death. That's why people are so scared of doing a speech in a wedding, or doing a presentation at work, because you are seen, you are evaluated, and it's danger in that, because you can lose your spot in the tribe. But today, almost in most countries of the world, there are no danger at all. We must remember that the world, it might doesn't seem like that in media, but the world is more peaceful when it comes to, there are less war than ever. We have a challenge with the COVID-19, but we have done much harder things than that. So we will accomplish that. We will succeed. So when it comes to all that fear that we carry with us, we need to realize that we can put it aside. Because when I ask people, why don't you follow your dream? Why don't you do more of that? They say, I'm afraid of what people say to me about me. I'm afraid of failure. Yeah, and then I ask them, what are you afraid of? And they say, I don't know. No, you don't need to be afraid anymore. It doesn't help you. You can be afraid in traffic, and that's it. But I try to teach my clients to be more fearless, do more of the stuff you want to do, and not be that so much aware of if you fail. You know, if you fail, then you learn. My grandfather is dead. No one thinks about him. I will be dead in hopefully a few decades, but then I will be forgotten. This planet, Radislav, is 4.54 billion years old. And if we are lucky, we will be on this planet for like 80 or 90 years. It's nothing. We have 8, 9, 10 decades to live. That's it. We are just visiting this planet for a very short time. And then I think, what should I fear? What am I scared of? I'm one of 7 billion people. Why shouldn't I follow my dream? And if I fail, so what? Then I can be proud I tried. There is nothing to be afraid about. I'm not, death is the best invention in life. It makes me want to live now.
Any cases to share?
I can share with you one cross-country skier who was on the national team. He still is, actually. He has it's a reference, and he has talked about our story in the media before, but his name is Martin Jonsrud Sundby, and we had a very good conversation in the beginning. It was in 2010, And I realized that he was not going all in. He didn't spend his everyday life 100% dedicated to become as good skier as possible. So I asked him, why don't you do more of the right stuff, more often? Because many of his exercises was like 70 or 80%. And he didn't eat super healthy, and he didn't sleep as much as he should. So what we realized that in an indirect way, we realized that he's not going all in because he was scared, he was afraid that if he goes all in and do not succeed, he doesn't have that apology for later on. But if we talk about it, people will realize that it's so much better to try 100% and then eventually not succeed, but then you can be proud that you tried. Because I talk to so many people that are regretting that they didn't go all in, that they didn't try, because they think maybe I could have like really done it. Maybe I could have become a good sportswoman or successful in success. This Martin, by the way, this Martin Jonsrud Sundby, he changed his mindset. He dared to go all in, and I believe 8 years later he becomes a world champion at the 15K. With tough competition from the Russians, but he made it, and it's quite. I think it's interesting that it was almost invisible. It was about the choices every day, knowing what to eat, preparing for the exercise, completing every exercise more 100%, put on dry clothes after the exercise, and sleeping an hour or two in the middle of the day instead of surfing on the internet, and then exercise number 2, and then put on dry clothes immediately, and then eat a healthy dinner and go early to bed instead of watching TV. So he thought it would be hard, but after a while he realized it was cool.
Dear viewers, as you know, we have a competition today. Erik has a new book coming out in early 2021. You heard Erik talk about its content. Please write down your ideas about a potential title. Jumping to experience as the coach, trainer, and speaker. In my experience, is that there are 3 types of people who attend my performances. The first type leave and go into nothing. I don't know the number, but I know they are alive, they are survive. The second type absorb the information and go away, making step-by-step changes over time. The third group take immediate and radical action, trying to change everything in their life all at once. They typically stop soon afterwards, disappointed and without results. What is your experience with trainings and clients? How do you help them change? Who successfully changes?
With my experience, I think people who are most successful of changing are the people who are most in pain. If we want to change, strong feelings is very, very helpful. So it's actually quite a challenge to coach a lot of people in Norway, because a lot of people in Norway, they feel that they are okay, that they are in an okay spot. And that like fascinates me, because I would love people to have a fantastic life, that to be dare to be ambitious about their own journey. We have this one life, this one opportunity. We have been given this fantastic gift. So I think we should, in honor of the dead and in honor of the people who are sick and in the honor of all those people who are not born, that we have to make the most out of it. So as a rule of thumb, we need to make small changes over time, because then we will build new habits, and then we can have new energy to change another habit again, because change is hard, but possible. And it's easier to make small changes over time. So if you eat too much, eat a little bit less next day. If you don't exercise, walk for 1 minute for in the stairs for 1 minute. Take 5 push-ups, and the next day you take 6 push-ups, and the next day after that 7 push-ups.
You told you do all of that for your why, but what is your why?
But my whys, why I want to push myself, why I want to be the best me, is the 3 things. It's love. I believe in love. Um, the love to my girlfriend, love to my children, the love to my friends, and to human beings. I could have included the earth as well, but love is important. I think love gives me one of the best feelings that there is. To be loved and to give love is one of the finest, strongest, most beautiful feelings human beings can experience. So I want that. But at the same time, love can be painful. So it has both, right? It can, most of the most beautiful feelings you can have, but also one of the toughest, hardest feelings. And that's how I believe life should be, in contrast, in believing, having both feelings on this journey. The other thing that is my why is to do something meaningful. I'm this small kid that tried to make a living out of being a coach, and I've been curious about life. And if I can share my ideas about my ups and downs in life, that's rewarding, and that gives me meaning. And if I can give love to people, and maybe even receive love, and if I can be here with you now, that's my why. That's why I get up in the morning. That's why I dare to do this interview. That's why I try to be my best. I fail over and over. Oh God, I have failed in my life. Big times. I failed in business. I've lost millions of kroners. I have failed in marriages. I have failed in friendships. I always wanted to fail because I wanted this emotional journey. And I've had my successes as well as how I perceive success. So life is quite a journey, isn't it? And to me, love is success. To dare to love, to dare to give love, and find something meaningful to do. And to me, it's meaningful to make maybe a few people inspired to dare to think, be more conscious about how they live their life. And the third thing that is my why is to be in the now. If I can be present in the now, I can't do it all the time. Sometimes I think about my past. Sometimes I need to plan. Sometimes I worry about the future. But I try to be in the now as often as possible, in this conversation with you, which I am delighted to be in. It's a huge thing for me to talk to you, to a foreign superstar in a big, beautiful country of Russia, because I get sad when I talk to 70 and 80 and 90 years old people, and they tell me that they haven't thought about life. They haven't stopped and thought about the way they live their life. I didn't know that all these days that come and go was actually life. I should have been more with my kids, talked to them, seen them, encouraged my kids. I should have loved my wife, my man, even more, and showed her or him how much I actually cared for them. And now it's too late. I should have been more compassionate, understanding. I should have been more aware of how I can be a good human being, It doesn't matter maybe in the end how much money you have or what car you have or what kind of house you actually have. Maybe that doesn't matter too much.
I'm hearing this word love. You remind me the interview um, with the guru Ishak. Our viewers can watch this video on my channel, Leadership Strategies. Uh, and what I've heard today: pain, fight, um, what else? Hell. Hell week sounds very aggressive. Hell is aggressive word, and Hell week points to the same as one's mind. But Ishak, he spoke on the key to the future being in love. How does love fit with hell, week, and with mental training more generally?
Yeah, I believe that the universe is constructed by the contrasts in a way. I believe in the yin or yang. I believe in the warm and cold. I believe in uh, the beautiful and the hard. We need, we have the night, we have the day, we have life, we have death, we have white, we have black. I think we need to be aware that life is about both things, and we need one thing to have the other. I'm sorry. I believe in Buddhism strongly, and I think we can, even that life is suffering, we can have a beautiful life as well, and we can believe that everything is like one energy, and that everything is like one, and we can live for eternity because energy goes just into another energy, and that's beautiful. And I think we need the contrast. But I agree. Hellwick is a negative, like loaded word. Hell is something that we associate with something hard. But at the same time, if you do Hellwick, I think we can create the possibility to feel the exact opposite: peace, being calm, feeling, being harmonic, being in touch with ourselves. Dare to be true to yourself, and maybe even lose ego and be more aware of how you can be a good human being to others. One of my values is giving, and giving without expect anything back. And that's true giving, right? So Hell Week is to kickstart a change, but it is up to you what you want to change. Some people want to be more kind. Okay, do that. Do a lot of kind things that week. Some people want to find peace. Okay, that week you will find peace, and prove to yourself that it is possible even in a busy city by meditation or listening or just being. We need everything, right? The most important thing is that I don't have the answer on how people should live. The only thing I believe strongly in, and I encourage people to do, is to dare to think on how they live their life.
Thank you, Eric. And we have one more competition. As you remember, I asked my followers in Instagram to help me with the interview, and they've sent me more than 30 questions to you. Uh, the mm, the competition is 3 questions of your choice. I've sent to Eric that questions, and he already chosen 3 of them. And that questions are: what makes you feel alive?
I feel fortunate because I feel very much alive in a way, and then I include bad feelings. My life is a roller coaster, and that's what I want. I feel alive when I go out for a run, and maybe it's cold, maybe during winter time, and I take the hot shower afterwards. I love that contrast. Then I feel alive. I feel alive when I walk in the mountains. and I walk for hours, and then I finally take up some from my rucksack, take up some sandwiches, and finally eat. It tastes so good if you have walked all day long. I feel alive uh, with my girlfriend, with my kids. If I play with my kids, if I'm there with them, um, if I see them happy, if they are smiling, if we are doing camping or playing soccer, if we do stuff that I see that they like, I feel alive. I feel alive when I see my kids smiling, laughing. But I feel alive when I'm in pain as well. I feel alive when life is okay. Because I embrace that life is actually about emotions. We all struggle to find the good feelings, the good emotions. When I ask why do you want this? Why do you want this? It all comes down to feelings. So I try to be very aware what I feel now. And to be aware is being alive for me.
Thank you. And the other question is, uh, I read Hell Week 3 years ago. I then worked a brutal regime of 16 hours days for a long while. I then burned out, very badly so. It took me almost a year to recover. My question: how does one turn extreme but not burn out?
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that he was burned out.
Who
Um,
will pay for recovering? Who will pay for my doctors?
he brings up a very important point, and I think a lot of people, in my mind, misunderstand how to be successful. Of course, if you want success, and this depends very much on how you define it. But let's say you want a fantastic business career. Let's say you want to earn more money. We have learned that hard work hard work pays off. And of course, you need to work hard. How to be able to work hard? You need to love what you do. If you love what to do, it's easier to do more of the right stuff. But, and there's a very big but here. Um, um, the difference between those who are extraordinarily successful and okay successful is that the extraordinary successful very much have more time to relax, recover, and to be like turned off. They dare to change focus. They dare to sleep enough, to meditate enough. They actually dare to find pockets of peace during a week. Of course, they have periods where they work really, really hard, but you can't, as a human being, work 16 hours a day, week after week after week. Then you will burn out.
Again, the third question is, what are your priorities in life, Eric?
Yeah,
What are
I
your
guess. Yeah, I guess I've answered that with what is my why. But if I talk a little bit about values, I think it is super important to actually dare to stop and ask yourself what is most important to you in life. It's an easy exercise. It's like, Radislav, when you work with businesses always have a very clear goal or several clear goals. They always have a vision. They have defined their values, and they even have a strategy on how to get there. But when I ask individuals the same questions, what is your vision, what is your goals, and what's your strategy, they don't spend time. And that's interesting, isn't it? We have this one life, this one opportunity, and we don't sit down and ask ourselves, what is our vision? What is the most important things in my life? What would be fantastic to achieve? How am I spending my days? We should spend some time ask ourselves about that, because it's dangerous just to like follow in the river and just hope that life will be okay. We can't just hope. We need to take charge. We need to decide. We need to do actions to get there. To get where? We need to find that. So the most important things in my life is my health, because if I don't have my health, I can't take care of my kids. And if I can't take care of my kids, hey, then I'm a bad father. I want to be a good father, and I want to take care of my loved ones, and I want to be a good friend. And one of my main values is giving to the society, giving back to my parents, giving back to my family. Giving is one of my main things, and I get a good feeling when I can give without people knowing, in a way. It gives me a good feeling, and it's the good feelings we're fighting for, isn't it? So that's some of my value.
Thank you, Erik. And the interview gave Born more questions than I had in my list before. Thank you, and I will waiting for your next book and for offline meeting anywhere in the world, maybe in Moscow, maybe in Oslo, maybe New York, London. Or,
It's been
um,
an honor. It's been an honor, also. Thank you so much, and I wish you good luck as well. And I can see that you're successful, and I hope you continue a fantastic journey. And thank you for your time. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And there was our special guest, the number one mental and performance coach in Norway, best-selling author, international speaker, Erik Butan. Thank you again. See you. Repetition well done. After 10 minutes break, we will record the interview. Okay.
Oh.